actually occurred.
I mean, I think it's important to remember what Netanyahu and other members of his war cabinet said at the beginning when we started to learn about this so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and that is that it was never meant to be an actual aid distribution program, that this was meant to offer the veneer of giving humanitarian aid to Palestinians to sort of quiet down some of the critics from within the pro-Israel camp internationally. Netanyahu specifically said that he had been approached by Republican senators saying that they didn't want the appearance of starvation of the Palestinians of Gaza to affect the ability of the United States to continue funding and arming this war of annihilation. And so that, we just have to put that out there front and center. From the moment that this launched early last week, there have been dozens of Palestinians killed because Israelis have fired on them either on their way to get aid or after they've retrieved aid. What we witnessed here was the Israelis unleash gunfire and other attacks on this crowd. And as videos and reports start coming out of Gaza depicting this, and we start hearing international doctors that are on the ground there describing the injuries that they're treating, Israel then puts out a video that it says actually shows Hamas was firing on people retrieving aid. Well, that video that the Israelis put out has now been geolocated, and it wasn't near Rafah, where this Witkoff massacre, as the Palestinians are calling it, occurred, but actually had occurred at a different time. And it wasn't Hamas that was actually firing on Palestinians. It was a private gang that there's significant evidence to suggest is being bankrolled or backed by the Israelis to operate as kind of an armed thug force that is selling aid to Palestinians. So, and the final thing I'll say on this, Crystal, is that David Satterfield, who was President Biden's top humanitarian aid official and a very, very militantly pro-Israel guy, recently said on a national interview on CNN that there's no evidence whatsoever that he saw during his entire time when he was a senior Biden administration official that Hamas is hoarding any significant quantities of aid or is engaged in any of the kinds of activities that the Israelis are accusing them of. So clearly here what we've seen is a massacre of Palestinians who were lured into this so-called aid trap, where the actual point of it ultimately was set out in the open by Netanyahu: force Palestinians into an shrinking killing cage, and then force them to depend on the food inside of that killing cage, so that you can either kill more of them or ultimately implement what they keep calling Trump's plan, which is to forcibly deport Palestinians from Gaza. And track record now is a 19-month track record where Palestinians videotape, witness, and then tell the world what has happened. They're smeared as being Hamas. Fake or fabricated videos or out of context videos or mistranslated documents are then presented to the public. And then it sort of seems like it's well, Hamas says this and the good guys say that. And you even see Israeli officials saying, who do you want to believe, Hamas or an American-run aid organization and the Israeli military? So